Is the Bible hiding an explosive truth about the origins of humanity? A truth about ancient gods known as the Anunnaki? In humanity's most sacred book, there's a mysterious passage that hints at something extraordinary. Genesis 6 verse 4 reads, "In those days, and even afterwards, giants lived on the earth. For whenever the sons of God had intercourse with the daughters of humans, they gave birth to children who became the heroes and famous warriors of ancient times." But this isn't the only source of such tales. Over 6,000 years ago, the ancient Sumerian civilization inscribed thousands of clay tablets, and what they left behind will leave you speechless. Why has this knowledge been hidden for so long? Why have scholars stayed silent? And why have governments buried the evidence? Today, we're diving headfirst into one of humanity's greatest mysteries. From the ancient pages of the Bible to the cryptic Sumerian clay tablets, from shocking archaeological discoveries to suppressed documents spanning millennia. And if what we're about to reveal is true, everything you think you know about the origins of humanity will need to be rewritten. For the first time ever, the veil of secrecy will be lifted. Let's open the Bible, not to read about Adam and Eve or the Garden of Eden, but to uncover something far more mysterious. A passage so enigmatic, so haunting, that scholars have debated its meaning for thousands of years. Genesis 6:4 recounts this strange tale. "In those days, and even afterwards, giants lived on the earth, for whenever the sons of God had intercourse with the daughters of humans, they gave birth to children who became the heroes and famous warriors of ancient times." Pause for a moment. Who were these giants? And more importantly, whose offspring were they? The sons of God, a cryptic term translated from the ancient Hebrew phrase Bene Elohim. And then there's Nephilim, a word drenched in power and mystery. In ancient Hebrew, Nephilim means those who have fallen, or those who descended from above. But these weren't angels, not in the way we imagine. No, they were something else. Ancient texts describe the Nephilim as towering, extraordinary beings, not merely tall, but a completely different kind of being, possessing unimaginable strength, intelligence, and knowledge. The Book of Enoch, an ancient text written by Noah's grandfather and excluded from the Standard Bible, offers an even more stunning revelation. It portrays the Nephilim as beings who taught humanity forbidden secrets: astronomy, metallurgy, warfare, and the mysteries of the universe. But why? Why did they appear? What was their purpose? This is where the story takes an astonishing turn. 6,000 years ago, in the land of Mesopotamia, the cradle of civilization, the Sumerians left behind thousands of clay tablets. On those tablets, they recorded tales of beings called the Anunnaki. The Sumerians described the Anunnaki as celestial beings who descended from the skies, resembling humans but far larger. Like the Nephilim, the Anunnaki were said to have shared advanced knowledge with humanity. Astronomy, architecture, medicine, mathematics. And the most shocking part, the Sumerians wrote that the Anunnaki intermingled with humans, and the result of this union? Hybrid beings. Beings of extraordinary strength and intelligence. Sound familiar? That's exactly what Genesis 6:4 describes about the Nephilim. But the parallels don't stop there. Both are described as coming from the skies. In Sumerian, Anunnaki means those who came from heaven to earth. Similarly, Nephilim translates to those who descended from above. Both are described as giants. The Sumerian tablets depict the Anunnaki as towering over humans, 2 to 3 times taller. Meanwhile, the Hebrew texts describe the Nephilim as so massive that humans seemed like grasshoppers in their eyes. And most importantly, both are said to have created a new lineage, a genetic legacy, through their union with humans. Now, here's where it gets even more intriguing. The phrase sons of God in Genesis? In Hebrew, it's Bene Elohim. And here's the mind-blowing part. Elohim, a word often translated as God, but in its original form, it's plural. Not one God, but a group of divine beings. And when we compare this to the Sumerian tablets, the connection becomes undeniable. The Anunnaki were described as a group of gods, led by Anu, the supreme god of the heavens. They weren't a single entity, but an advanced civilization that descended from the stars. So, could it be that the sons of God in Genesis are the same beings the Sumerians called the Anunnaki? Two civilizations telling the same story? If this is true, it leads to a staggering conclusion. The Nephilim and the Anunnaki may have been the same beings, celestial entities, descended from the skies, sharing knowledge, merging with humanity. But why? Why did they come? What was their purpose? The Book of Enoch hints at the answer. The Nephilim didn't just share knowledge, they influenced humanity's destiny. The Sumerians wrote the same, that the Anunnaki created humanity in their own image. Could this be why these stories have been buried, suppressed for millennia? Because they reveal an explosive truth about our origins? And here's the biggest question of all. If the Nephilim were the Anunnaki, what traces have they left behind? And more chillingly, are they still here? Stay tuned, because what's coming next will change everything you thought you knew. Let's turn back the clock. 6,000 years ago to ancient Mesopotamia, the cradle of civilization. Here, between the Tigris and Euphrates rivers, a culture made a stunning claim. We did not evolve on our own. We were created and guided by gods who came from the sky. These were the Sumerians, the first to invent writing, the first to build cities, and the first to record an extraordinary story about the origins of humanity. On thousands of clay tablets, they etched a tale that would defy belief, the story of the Anunnaki. Beings they claimed came from another planet to create humankind. But here's the most astonishing part. They didn't just tell the story, they left behind evidence. In 1849, archaeologists uncovered thousands of ancient clay tablets in what is now Iraq. These tablets, preserved for millennia, revealed breathtaking accounts of gods the Sumerians called the Anunnaki. In their texts, the Sumerians described these beings as coming from the heavens. They were depicted as towering figures, far larger than humans, endowed with superior intelligence and advanced knowledge. What's truly remarkable? The Sumerians weren't speaking in vague myths. Their tablets recorded how the Anunnaki taught them critical skills: astronomy, mathematics, architecture, and medicine. Pause for a moment. How could an ancient civilization, one of the earliest in human history, develop such complex understanding on their own? And why were they so adamant that this knowledge came from gods from the skies? But the story doesn't stop in Sumer. As researchers delved deeper, they discovered something astonishing. Similar stories appeared in other ancient civilizations, separated by thousands of miles and centuries. In Egypt, hieroglyphs speak of the Neteru, gods said to have descended from the star Sirius. Like the Anunnaki, the Neteru shared profound knowledge of construction, astronomy, and medicine. The Mayans told of Kukulkan, a deity from the stars who brought them advanced knowledge. And in ancient India, Sanskrit texts described Vimanas, flying machines piloted by celestial beings. How could these civilizations, completely disconnected, tell such similar tales? Then there are the architectural wonders. Structures so massive, so precise, they seem almost impossible to explain. The Great Pyramid of Giza, aligned with near-perfect accuracy to the cardinal points. Modern technology struggles to replicate this precision. Puma Punku, Bolivia, where massive stones were cut with machine-like accuracy. Perfect 90-degree angles, stones so tightly fitted that a razor blade cannot pass between them. And Baalbek, Lebanon, home to monolithic stones weighing nearly 1,000 tons, raised 10 meters above the ground. Even with today's machinery, this would be a monumental task. Who built these structures, and how? Even more astonishing is the astronomical knowledge of these ancient civilizations. The Sumerians documented celestial phenomena with breathtaking precision. They charted the movements of planets, identified constellations, and even predicted eclipses. The Mayans were equally advanced. Their calculations of Venus's cycles were so precise, they outperformed Renaissance astronomers. How could they achieve this level of accuracy without telescopes or modern tools? And here's the big question. Why do so many of these ancient civilizations, separated by time and geography, tell similar stories? Gods from the skies, advanced knowledge, unexplained architectural feats. Historians have proposed theories, independent development, forgotten methods of communication. But a larger question lingers. If the stories of the Anunnaki and other ancient gods are true, why have they been erased from mainstream history? What are we not being told? And most chilling of all, if they were here once, are they still here? Stay tuned. because what comes next may change everything you think you know about the history of humanity. In the vast tapestry of human history, there are stories that have been buried by time. Not because they lack importance, but perhaps because they are too important. One of the clearest examples is the tale of the Nephilim and the sons of God. In the Bible, Genesis mentions them only briefly, just a few verses. But behind those short lines lies a wealth of information that has been lost, or perhaps deliberately excluded from mainstream texts. Scholars have uncovered ancient writings that delve much deeper into these mysterious beings. Writings that, for reasons unknown, were omitted from religious canon. The question is, what do these writings contain? And more importantly, why were they excluded? The Book of Enoch tells a story that is as remarkable as it is unsettling. In it, Enoch describes the Watchers, 200 angelic beings who descended to Earth and interacted with humanity. They didn't just mingle with humans, they taught them. According to Enoch, the Watchers shared forbidden knowledge, astronomy, metallurgy, the art of adornment, and much, much more. What's fascinating, these teachings align with the Sumerian accounts of the Anunnaki, written on their clay tablets thousands of years ago. But here's where it gets even more intriguing. The Book of Enoch was excluded from the Bible. Why? Scholars suggest it was too detailed, too controversial, especially its descriptions of angelic beings mingling with humans. And Enoch is not alone. Other texts, like the Book of Giants, found among the Dead Sea Scrolls, also recount the tale of ancient giants. It raises a troubling question: why were these texts excluded? The removal of the Book of Enoch wasn't an isolated event. It's part of a broader effort to control information about humanity's past. When the Book of Enoch was deemed unfit for the Bible, it joined a growing list of ancient writings that discussed supernatural beings and their connection to humanity. Many of these texts are now locked away in the Vatican Library, accessible only to a privileged few. In the 4th century, at the Council of Nicaea, religious leaders decided what would and would not be included in the official Bible. Many texts were excluded, particularly those detailing the Nephilim and the Watchers. They were deemed incompatible with mainstream doctrine. But why? Why were these stories so sensitive that they had to be erased? Could it be that these ancient accounts contain truths that might shake the foundations of belief itself? Of all the stories in the Bible, none may be more closely tied to the Nephilim than the Great Flood. This wasn't just a story about a deluge. It was a story of a complete reset. Genesis says God saw that the wickedness of man was great on the earth. But here's the interesting part. Just before this, the text mentions the Nephilim and the union of the sons of God with the daughters of men. The Book of Enoch goes even further, claiming the flood wasn't just about cleansing humanity's sins. It was about wiping out the influence of the Watchers and their offspring, the Nephilim. If this is true, it explains why institutions have been so cautious with these stories. This isn't just a tale about the past, it's a narrative tied directly to the origins of humanity itself. What's remarkable is that even with these exclusions, stories of giants and ancient gods persist in the folklore of countless civilizations. In Norse mythology, there are the Jutnar. In Greek legends, the Titans. The Maya speak of Toltec gods. And in Hindu mythology, there are the Deva. All speak of beings with immense size, power, and knowledge who once walked among humans. Many of these cultures also recount a great flood after which these beings disappeared. And what's truly striking? These stories often end the same way. Supernatural entities banished from Earth, but their influence never forgotten. How is it that cultures separated by thousands of miles and thousands of years tell such similar stories? Could these myths be echoes of a forgotten history? A clear pattern emerges. Information about these extraordinary beings, whether Nephilim, Anunnaki, or other names, has been systematically restricted. From the Book of Enoch being excluded from the Bible, to ancient texts hidden in the Vatican Library, to folklore dismissed as mere superstition. There seems to be a deliberate effort to control what humanity knows about these beings. But why? Why is this information so sensitive that it must be concealed? If these stories are just myths, why go to such lengths to suppress them? Perhaps the answer lies in what these accounts reveal about our true origins. And perhaps that's why we must dig deeper, into the past, into the hidden, and into the forbidden. Because the truth, buried for millennia, may change everything we thought we knew about humanity. Every discovery we've just discussed leads us to one profound question. What is the true origin of humanity? It's not just the ancient stories of the Anunnaki that spark curiosity. It's the mysteries buried deep within our own DNA. When the Human Genome Project completed its first phase in 2003, scientists unlocked the blueprint of life, our genetic code. But here's what's astonishing. A significant portion of our genome is non-coding DNA, segments whose purpose remains a mystery. And that's not all. Evolutionary biologists are still grappling with a fundamental question. How did Homo sapiens, alone among primates, develop such advanced intelligence? Genetic mutations, environmental factors, natural selection? None of these fully explain the leaps in human evolution. And when we juxtapose these scientific puzzles with ancient texts about the Anunnaki, a fascinating perspective begins to emerge. In the 1960s, author Zecharia Sitchin proposed a groundbreaking yet controversial hypothesis. After studying Sumerian clay tablets, he suggested the Anunnaki may have intervened in human evolution. While this theory remains unproven, it has sparked compelling debates. What's striking is how the Sumerians described the Anunnaki. They didn't see them as distant gods, but as creators. Their texts claim the Anunnaki fashioned humankind. Even the word Adamu, the Sumerian term for the first man, bears a striking resemblance to the biblical Adam. Could the stories of the Anunnaki offer an ancient explanation for the sudden leaps in human intelligence? Leaps that modern science still struggles to understand? And it doesn't stop there. Even today, we can trace echoes of ancient knowledge woven into our reality. The Great Pyramid of Giza, built with such astronomical precision that modern scientists are still baffled. Was this knowledge the product of chance? Or was it passed down from a far older source? The Sumerians themselves recorded medical techniques and disease treatments centuries ahead of their time, and their clay tablets describe the planets in our solar system, details they couldn't have observed with the naked eye. How could they have known these things? Where did this knowledge come from? Perhaps the most astonishing possibility is this. Could the stories of the Anunnaki be more than myths? Could they be collective memories, distorted over time, but rooted in actual events? And if so, what does that mean for us? Here's the ultimate revelation. If the Anunnaki did leave their mark on humanity, that mark may still exist in our very own DNA. Perhaps the answers we've been searching for in the heavens have always been encoded in every cell of our bodies. If this journey through one of humanity's greatest mysteries has given you a new perspective, don't forget to leave a like and share it with friends who are equally fascinated by the past. And most importantly, share your thoughts in the comments below. This is Bible Wisdom Chronicles, and we've only just begun uncovering the secrets of our origins. Stay tuned, because the past holds more answers than we ever imagined.